Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. My guest is Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. Welcome back to the show, Larry.
Always glad to be on the show, Jim.
Larry, last week you were in Las Vegas at the Battery Show. Have you had any reaction to your presentations yet?
Well, I certainly, as I mentioned last week, I had some great meetings down there. We got a good reception. There was a great crowd of about 300 people attending the show, which is one of the bigger crowds that I've seen. And again, most of our interest, or 90% of it, came from the Chinese groups. But we did come back to Vancouver, and I had another meeting with a big private firm out of Germany. It's been around for 150 years, a multi-billion euro a year company, and they were quite interested in our process. And we had that meeting yesterday down at the Cametco office, where they could see how we were proceeding with our IPs and parts that were coming in for the pilot plant. And it was going to be a 2-hour meeting, and ended up to be a 3-hour meeting. So when they go longer, you know that the interest is there. And but again, I don't expect to hear back from them for probably up to a couple of months. They've got to talk to their board and everything else, and they are a private company, and they just took over a 50% interest in a battery manufacturer in the U.S. So they're in the right area. But that said and done, as I may have mentioned last week, the theme was about reuse, and I've been doing a lot of thinking about that. And you know, that is a something that's being bandied around in the press here in North America and Europe. Reuse sets out the recycling responsibilities for several more years, and but it doesn't solve the problem of the cathode material that you need for the batteries. And I think reuse is just a knee-jerk reaction to, getting the regulatory bodies off your back. China has come out with regulations now, and certainly any meetings I've had with battery manufacturers out of China or Japan or Korea, for that matter, don't talk about reuse. As a matter of fact, one of the themes that they talk about with us is, would be, and that's from 2 different companies, from 2 different nations there, and that is, would we be interested in starting off with them stockpiling lithium-ion batteries for the recycling? Well, that is an interesting aspect. It's certainly different than what I've been getting from our U.S. or Canadian or European folk. They don't talk about stockpiling any batteries. I know that people talk about where are your batteries coming from. Well, that would be an answer. And I haven't moved on that yet, because that's just a little bit premature, because those batteries would sit there for up to 2 years before they would ever be needed to go through a recycling process. So, and those batteries are hazardous. So you don't want to have them stockpiled around in a yard or in a building or anything like that, because, they can short out, and the next thing you know, you got a fire that's belching out all kinds of contaminants in the air. So, but that is an interesting aspect that I will be pursuing. And but reuse, I don't see it as being a long-term solution. I see that being as a very stopgap solution, when you would want to put thousands of dollars worth of cobalt and lithium on the wall, when you could be replacing that with manganese and lithium. But it does answer the question, when you're under the gun. There's not many solutions out there when it comes to recycling. Ours is probably the most transparent out there. People can actually follow that. They can go to the site and connect into the U.S. Patent Office site and have a look at our patent. And so they know that what we say is irrefutable. It's get what we get. So I don't see reuse as being a big issue. And the other thing is about the building batteries, cheaper, getting rid of the cobalt out of it. And again, that is not a long-term solution. I'll give you an example. When you make a nickel manganese cobalt battery, NMC, the higher the amount of cobalt in the 111 chemistry, you have a longevity of 95% and a thermal stability of close to 315. And then as you move down to the 622, the thermal stability and the capacity retention goes down. And but if you go down to the 622, you have a thermal stability of around 275 and a longevity of under 90. And then the 811, you're down to 80% on the longevity, and your thermal stability goes down to about 240. That's not what you want. Elon Musk's chemistries have allowed him to, have a real startling power ratio where he could go from 0 to 60 in mere fractions or seconds and fractions of seconds. And you're going to lose that if you don't have the cobalt. So whether he moves away from cobalt or not, I think the Asian market is not looking at that. That's the biggest market out there. That's where the biggest interest comes from, because they do have laws that are coming in and will be enforced very soon. That's why there's a big interest from Asia. And I hate to say it, but we're lagging here in North America. And Europe is doing something to catch up, but it's lagging too. So, am I concerned about it? When we first started on this program, and when we first started on our proof of concept, the price of cobalt was $10,000 a ton. Today it's down to $72,000 a ton from up over 90. And but that again is not a long-term situation, because cobalt is scarce. And you're also got copper below $3 and nickel dropping. Everything else, zinc, lead, they're all dropping. And this has got to do with the trade tariffs. I think that when Trump comes through with his ultimate plan on that, and there will be meetings of the mind, everything will get back on track. The thing that really excites me is, we had a tough day in the market today, and it traded just under 600,000 between the U.S. and Canada, and it was down pretty early in the morning, and it ended up at 17 cents. And you look at the trades and you see, wow, how Anonymous sold half of the stock today. Well, there's a lot of predator trading and a rearranging of the books. It's just after month end, and so they got to balance out their accounts. I think that really, if a full investigation was done, you'd find there was no change of ownership, which is wash trades. But that's just my thoughts. And but in the meantime, it makes the company look weak. But we're in good company. There's good companies out there that are also getting thrashed about, and a lot of anonymous and jitney trades on them, and they go through Scotia and all the other firms out there. You can jitney your stock through any firm out there. But I think that we're in the right track. I think we're in the right field. I think that we're probably recession-proof. I think this electric vehicle situation is going to take off. There's enough batteries out there now that have already been produced with high cobalt numbers in them that would keep us going for years. And That's what people have to look at. There'll be a lot of things tried to circumvent the shortage of cobalt and the price of cobalt, but I can imagine right now that the Asians are lapping up all that cheap cobalt at $70,000 or $72,000 a ton. And in the meantime, I think that we're in a good position. We're in a very good position. The stock has been held in a narrow range, and which means that people can, new investors can load up at very, what I would consider, bargain prices.
Larry, where is American Manganese traded, and how can people get more information?
American Manganese is traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange Venture Exchange under the symbol AMY. It's traded in the U.S. under the symbol AMYZF, and it's traded in Frankfurt under the symbol 2AM. We have a website out there that has all our information, and that website is AmericanManganeseInc.com. You can phone the office here at 778-574-4444, or you can email me at LREAUGH@AMYMN.com.
Larry, thanks for the update.
You're welcome, Jim.
We've been speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. I'm Jim Goddard. Our conversation took place on July 5th.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at HowStreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.